This is Hispanic Heritage Month, and I love... Anyone who's ever heard me speak knows how much I love history, so you know I love white people. So, no, I do. I love white people, and most of our history is you know, that we grew up in school is Anglo-American history, and I love it. And for those of you that ever heard me speak in Black History Month, you know how much I love the black culture. And so, and even more so now being in Africa. We had actually the church in Legacy Life Ministries in South Africa is a multicultural church just like ours. It is white, it is black, and it is colored. In fact, we ordained deacons there. They were black, and they're not prophetic, but they have the spirit. They really remind us, right, of Elder Kirkland and Minerva. They're right there. But they belong to the what's that tribe? The Xhosa. They speak Xhosa, so the language is like. So apostles ask them, how do you know what's the difference between a because they all sound the same. And it's true. And the guy, what's his name? Bright. I remember his name, like the light, Bright. And he says, well, basically your hand means this and this, that. And an apostle looking at me, I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me, and like, okay, we think we understand, but we don't understand. But we love all the cultures. It's wonderful. So, but rarely have we had an opportunity to do anything for Hispanic Heritage Month, and I really didn't have too much time because I got here, and again, day 1 was Yvette's, day 2 was Shani, day 3 was Niali, and then I had to meet with Apostle Thursday, and then of course we hung out with Ruth Friday night, and yesterday we were at a funeral. So I put together just a couple of things, and I'm sure there's others in the house. You don't have to be Hispanic, but that can maybe bring something to the table this month. But some of the things I just want to highlight, because I'm a history buff. Number one, we know that Christopher Columbus in 1492 discovered the Americas. I know he was Italian, but he was rejected by Italy and was fully funded by Spain. He never hit the United States. He landed in San Salvador Island in the Bahamas, and he went to Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and Cuba. In fact, his body is, what he said in his will, when I die, I want my body to be laid in my favorite place, and that was Hispaniola. So his body's actually in the capital of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. That's where he's buried at. In 1513, the one who did hit the United States was, and of course we know that the Native Americans have been here for a long time. So we're just talking about the European influence, which is where our history comes from. It's Ponce de Leon in 1513, way before the Pilgrims hit Plymouth Rock. Ponce de Leon was looking for the Fountain of Youth. We talk in credit, and we give a lot of credit, and Yvette and I have got a chance to go to all the places that Lewis and Clark have been to. From the time of their commissioning in St. Louis to the time they hit the Oregon River Trail over by Washington and Portland, Washington State and Portland, the city of Portland. But a lot of their journeys was based upon the explorations of Hernando de Soto in 1539, who explored Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. So their work was based upon what Hernando de Soto had done, and he took it from there. Francisco Vasquez de Coronado was the one who explored New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Kansas. You know, I'm from New York, and so the famous river is the Henry Hudson River, and he was famous, him and John Cabot, for exploring the northeast, excuse me, but their explorations was based upon someone else's explorations. And it was Esteban Gomez who explored as far north as Maine in 1525. Of course, this nation, we won our independence on the 4th of July of 1776, but we could not have won the war without money. And it was King Carlos of Spain that granted the colonists 1 million pounds of gold to finance the war against the Brits. Sorry, Steve Halford. Now, you know I love you. The Spanish was the first European language spoken in North America. Today, the United States is the 5th largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. In addition to the names of rivers, mountains, there are 2,000 or more cities and towns in the United States with a Spanish name, and they appear in every one of the 50 states. The state names of California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Nevada, Montana, and Florida are all Spanish. In geographical terms, think of arroyo, sierra, canyon, mesa. They're all Spanish terms used for geography. Meteorological terms such as hurricane and tornado come from Spanish words. Many plants such as the mesquite, the chaparro, and the alamo are Spanish. Architectural terms such as portals, adobe, ramada, cabanas, hacienda, a patio, and presidio are all of Spanish origin. Many animals and insects in North America come from Spanish names such as the coyote, the jaguar, and the demonic mosquitoes. If any of you wonder why I love the bats so much, it's because I abhor mosquitoes. Words in our English language that come from Spanish origin, for those of you that study linguistics: vigilante, filibuster, avocado, barbecue, corral, tobacco, vanilla, hammock, cigar, canoe, cougar, and tapioca all come from Spanish words. One of the most famous icons in the United States, is, you look at history and even in cinema, I got a ringing going on here, is the cowboy. But the Hispanics gave birth to the cattle industry of this country. It was the Hispanics who took the cattle, the sheep, and the horses, which the Spaniards brought to this continent and transformed and passed on the concept and the art of ranching to the Anglo-Americans. In space exploration, we have had 10 Hispanic astronauts. Music, I mean, we could be here for hours on music, but the ones that have really been famous that have crossed over, just to name a few, would be like Plácido Domingo, Jose Carreras when it comes to opera. In pop music, we got the Cuban Gloria Estefan, Puerto Rican Ricky Martin, New Yorkers, Mark Anthony and J-Lo, because New York is the largest province of Puerto Rico, they say. And then, of course, I mentioned her earlier, Shakira, Colombian, Enrique Iglesias, Spanish, Cuban, Pitbull, and 3 out of the 5 members of Fifth Harmony are from Hispanic descent. Acting, I mean, I grew up watching Fantasy Island, Ricardo Montalban. You know, how about Tattoo? I mean, I love the I Love Lucy show, but it was Desi Arnaz Productions. Cameron Diaz, Salma Hayek, Antonio Banderas, and the highest paid TV actress in history, the Colombian Sofia Vergara.